Good morning and welcome to Sunday Civics. My name is Tom Christie. Thanks for tuning in. We like to talk about civics. What makes a society happen? What makes a city a city? Every city's unique. Every city's different. And unless we learn about civics, we won't know how to be better people and society members. And unless we know how a city works in general, we can't make it any better. Everything has to be better. So we focus on one place, Niagara Falls. What piqued my interest this week was public safety and security, and the two dynamics that a bakery closed because of violent crime, but a school opened only a couple blocks later. So one closes, one opens. And then last week we talked about Stavati Aircraft was investing millions of dollars in this area. Well, we reached out to a guy at the School of Entrepreneurial Thought, Demetrius Nix, who's absolutely ubiquitous everywhere. You'll see him everywhere. You know him, but he doesn't do any interviews. In fact, I think this is the first interview he's agreed to do, and so we can't thank him enough. So because Stavati Aircraft is out at the airport investing millions of dollars, there's a guy in the neighborhoods investing all of his energy, all of his money, all of the resources right in the neighborhoods as well. No difference between the two types of industries. So I really wanted to talk to him. So I can't believe he agreed to it, and I can't thank him enough for agreeing to it. But Demetrius Nix is actually walking through the neighborhood. You see him there on the left. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Demetrius to join us. Demetrius, thanks for doing this morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Better just to see you, of course. Did I get that right? You're investing your life literally in not only Niagara Falls, but in Niagara Falls. Is that accurate? Is that true?
It's my home city.
Yeah. You grew up here?
Yeah, I was born and raised here to 14, went to prison from 14 and came home at 23 and been back here ever since. I'm 35 now.
And when you got out and had to do something, what led you to starting businesses and becoming an entrepreneur? What drove you in that direction?
Prison.
How so? People get out and don't do that.
Yeah, but I went in and my mindset was I changed my mind when I was in there. When I went in there, I didn't go to the hood. I didn't go to the projects. I didn't go and do the same stuff I do on the street. When I went in there, I went to juvie first because I was young. So I didn't go right to prison. And in juvie, they was, more teaching us, more breeding us. So by the time I went to prison, it was on my 20th birthday. They woke me up at 5 a.m, sent me to prison. I never got a ticket, never got in trouble or none. I already knew how to move in prison. I knew how to grab the resources that was available because the resources is available, but it's just like the streets. In prison, there's some resources available, but you got to know how to get them. In the streets, there's resources available that we just don't know about, or we don't know how to go out and seek them and pull them in. So I utilized my resources. I did a lot of studying. I studied a lot of religion because I understood that character was the biggest thing. And then that's what happened. I came home and I had character and morals. So when I came home and I ran my business, so I decided to open businesses. I actually opened my first business. What was my first business? My first business was Street News, Niagara Falls Street News. So it was, my thought was to take all these news sites, use a Facebook page. And this was when, this is back when before Facebook was what it was now. Huh? Let's go. So Street News was, I pulled all different resources together and I pulled all different communities together to one platform. And I was going out and I was doing interviews in the community, new businesses that open in, and I was doing marketing because I'm more into marketing. That's what I studied in prison, was how to market. So Street News actually did take off. I mean, Street News probably got about 30, 40,000 followers, 20,000 from Niagara Falls, which seems like that's half of Niagara Falls population, or at one point that a person got Niagara Falls on it. And then after Street News, I did my first business was Customs. It's in the same building that my business is in now, but it was an after school program. I was doing custom t-shirts. I was doing photography, and I had a recording studio. So what I did was I put out to the high schoolers that I had a recording studio, because one of the things on my bucket list was I went to jail in 7th grade. So I never been to high school. Like I never been inside Niagara Falls High School. Mm-hmm. So my thing was to help some high schoolers get through high school. So I picked 8 kids and they were supposed to run the store, the business. The business ended up failing, but it lasted 4 years. And the after school program actually, till this day, a lot of them young kids is how I influence into the young market. They all remember me from when I had that youth program for them years, MBS. It was called Nobody's Star. It was teaching them you your own star. You must believe in you. You must this. And I was always telling them that this day was going to come. In 7 years, I was like, yo, give me 7 years. When 7 years come, y'all will own the city. Y'all be the most popular, because right now I knew that it'd be their wave. I grabbed these kids up at 14, 7 years later, they 21, 22. The wave of the city, they direct. The wave of the future, they direct. If they don't move their legs to an ideal that we got, that ideal ain't gonna go nowhere.
Yeah. So you began starting a bunch of businesses that all pretty much succeed. They succeed if they go 4 years and help a lot of people. They don't fail. They might end, but they don't fail. I'm
more of a guy of character. I never cared about the money. So Allah always gave it to me. Yeah. So when I was in prison, I would tell you, when I was in prison, they kept trying to give me life. They kept trying to give me, hey, Akka. They kept trying to give me life, 9 to life, 7 to life. So I ended up asking God, I said, yo, let me go free and I would save my people. I was 15 years old at that time. Yeah. I made a promise. Now I realize when I'm older, everything I learned, everything I was taught in prison, like I was the only, and I go to a prison and be the only Muslim. So where I had a scholar coming in just teaching me one-on-one. So I got a lot of knowledge put in me. I had teachers pulling me to the side one-on-one, and they end up giving me 3 1/3 to 10. 3 days after I made that promise. So till this day, I'm still fulfilling that. Once I fulfill that, I get my life back. I kind of atone for the murder. So then we come to my grandfather. The month I came home from prison. Hey, come on, I open this door. What, y'all about to sign the book? Oh, you gotta use the bathroom. It ain't really a Sunday book,
He didn't help me do nothing yet. That's the point of the book.
Love y'all. My bad. I had to open the school, so somebody was at the front door knocking.
Yeah.
So
go back to what you were saying there.
So what part was I at?
You said you got 3 to 10, and then you made the promise, and you came out, and you just started helping other people.
Yeah, and I started helping. So first I came home, I started helping, but what happened was I got caught up. I got caught up into the life. So I came home with this innocent mind that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this pilgrimage to Mecca. I'm gonna get off parole and I'm gonna do this. But I got caught up in the life. I got caught up in the same cycle and the same everything. I got caught right back up in it. I didn't go back to prison, but I got caught back up in it. But the teachings that I had, and when I say upbringing, a lot of times my upbringing is counted from 14 to 23. That's considered an upbringing to me because that's really when I learned everything. Before that, I remember them teaching me how to wipe behind my ear. And I'm like, damn, nobody never taught me to wipe behind my ear, that shit get stinking. Yeah. I had to learn that there. Yeah. So then when I was coming home, the month before I came home, my grandma died. Mm. So I had nowhere to go. I was so bad as a kid and I was so messed up. Nobody wanted me to come to their house. Nobody let me come to their house. So I ended up homeless. So I went to the community mission because my grandma died the month before I came home. So I went to the community mission. And then from there, I became successful. I mean, the businesses did succeed because I don't spend money. I mean, I'm really like, you see my belt? My belt is the same zip tie that I'm using to hang the We All We Got and Stop Black on Black Crime posters everywhere. Yeah. So I end up getting her house though. So she got the only house on the street. It's a 9-bedroom house in NFR zone, Niagara Falls redevelopment, development zone. I end up getting that house and spent 4 years fixing that house. Mm-hmm. And then I started renting rooms out of the house, and I converted that in between the business. When Donald Trump ended up becoming president, I cashed out of the store. And I end up going to an MBS from Customs, and I end up getting into properties, and all the property value shot up. Mm-hmm. So everything worked out perfect. But I never had more than 2 pair of pants in my life. I went from having a poor upbringing. Well, I wouldn't say poor, I would say solid. So I never had much, and even when I did have it, I still lived like that. Like I'm still I'm still more the guy that if I sit down on the ground outside, you would think I'm the homeless person, and you would think the guy next to me is the one running everything.
Yeah.
Because of the perception. But that's what I'm doing. I'm changing our perception. I'm trying to change our perception as I go. So as people see my story, when I got caught up in this life, they understand I am them. I have the upbringing of like a scholar. Like I went to Buffalo and I was talking to some people. They're like, we need you to be an imam out here, like the leader of a mosque. I have the knowledge in me, but that ain't the direction I'm going in right now. I have that knowledge in me, but then I done ran the streets. I done got caught up in this life once as a kid and then once as an adult. Both times I was able to pull myself out and pull people with me. The second time I pulled a lot of people with me. I gave everybody jobs. Fuck that. This is the better way.
Yeah. You stand alone, really. I asked the question of everyone about Niagara Falls because I'm trying to learn why Niagara Falls isn't better. Whatever it is, but I think it should be a world city like Singapore, Tokyo, London. It shouldn't just be a little bit better like a cleaner Batavia, right? So I ask everybody, what do you think Niagara Falls could be? I got to tell you, you're the only one that didn't blink or hesitate. You rattled off 30 different things. Some of them crazy, some of them perfect, but you didn't say nothing. Everybody else, Demetrius, has not answered that question. They look at me like I have three heads. So that's I don't care what your answer was, you gave answer. So
don't lock the bottom lock.
So you mentioned bucket list, and I mentioned what could the falls be? What's a molding of those two things? What do you think? What are you doing all this for? What do you think we can be?
If I had my choice, if I could get it, if my whole dream play out,
yeah,
we got the Black Mecca, because I'm trying to unite. We got the Black Mecca, which is a united inner city that united together and work together and build businesses. So first you got the Black Mecca. If I can make that, because I'm a marketer by heart. By trade, all I know how to do is sell stuff. I don't know how to run businesses. I can't read and write. I am a marketer. I know how to sell stuff, and I know how to get into people's minds, and I know how to change people's minds.
Yeah.
So when I look at the reality of it, and it's like the Black Mecca, then the Black Dubai. So what I planned on doing was, if I could get that far, I thought, where can you get the money? That's the real thing. If I want to build around my grandma's house, which is the same thing that's in that zone by the falls, we have to raise up our downtown. We have to have a skyline somewhere. We have to have something to do. We have to have the area booming together that's going to draw outside people, which is why I say the Black Mecca would draw outside people. Other cities were here. There's a black city there's a city up there that the whole hood came together and changed how they live and raised the value of their city. But then if we could turn around and get that going, that'll draw some more people in, a whole different crowd of people than the people we already getting at the falls. People that want to come and have longer stays to learn how to do this back in their city. Because that's what I want them to do with my movement. Come here, learn how we did it, then go to another place. Since I can't read and write, I'm going to build the template. That was my mindset. So the second thing is building the Black Dubai. I was going to sell it that way because I know one thing. My people, we always say we don't have the big companies, or we don't have this and we don't have that. If we put that out to our artists, to our basketball players, to all of our celebrities, I think they grab on that it's this big open land and we could have a Black Dubai, something that's for our people that we came together and that we built. And I think that'll draw people all from across the country here, while the falls is drawing people all from across the world. So when people be like, well, why ain't Niagara Falls nothing? Maybe it was just waiting for me. I don't know.
Could be. Right. Well, let me interrupt. I want to get to the other 28 things, but, do the Black Dubai or the Black Mecca, does that leave me out? Maybe, I'm not Black.
No, because when we use the term, it's saying that it was created by us. But that don't mean it's going to take everybody to pull this off. We only 13% of the population at best. How can we do it alone?
Right.
But I do understand that there's a market of money. And at the end of the day, if you do get involved, you understand, hold up, let us lead it. Let us lead the way. It ain't going to hurt you at all if we lead the way. And we're going to be able to open doors that you yourself can't open. We can hit an avenue that's nowhere else in America, because we got to do something that's nowhere else. If we make it everybody, it's just going to be like, yeah, okay. But if we make it that, it's going to have that Atlanta draw. People are going to want to move here. And we so small, that the number that we're going to move is going to be smaller than if we did it on a huge, huge scale. But we don't got the size of Atlanta to have that many people anyway. So we got to be our own jurisdiction. We got to create it in a different way.
Yeah. One thing that people always sell us on, is the future. Religion does that. It'll all be better when I go to heaven or whatever. What's going on today? What can I do today? What can you do today? Niagara Falls is 46,000 people. Do we have a goal to 10 years from now? It should be 66,000 or 106,000 or 1,000,006. What concrete goals can we pursue?
I believe something like Trump. We want to draw people in, right? We need to get our population up, but we need to draw back people with knowledge, people with skills. So this is stuff that we doing today. I'm in the courtyard right now of the Entrepreneur School of Thought. This is just the courtyard outside. I'm in the courtyard because this is what we doing. We constantly doing it today. Every single day is what gets you to the dream. The first thing, okay, with WAG, we got. When I go into a new city, there's 3 stages. It's hope, motivation, and unity. The first stage is hope. So hope, when we go into a city, all we doing is giving people hope. Stop saying it can't be this. Stop saying it can't be that. Stop saying it's oh, well, this person don't want this or this person don't. And we got to use the John F. Kennedy saying, ask not what your country could do for you, ask what you could do for your country. So I switch that up and I say, ask not what your community could do for you, ask what you could do for your community. And I go through and I roar through the whole city, because all I got to do is find 50 people that want the same thing. And I know they're there. They just on different sides of town. You pull them 50 together. Now you got the numbers. Now you start creating a wave from that. You just giving hope. First thing is hope. Don't change none. Second thing is going to be motivation. This is when you open your schools and you start encouraging people to open their businesses. Now people start opening businesses, and if you get people credit right, get them in the houses, hopefully that brings down the crime. Normally when you got something to lose, like everybody be telling me, you got too much. When I'm out here fighting for something, if I feel right about something, they be like, you got too much to lose. You shouldn't be doing this. And I'll be looking at them like, what do I got to lose? Money don't matter to me, but I understand in this world to 99%, money matters so much that money is how they view life by the scale of $1. Yeah. So really what I'm trying to do, the way I think change comes is through the first stage of hope. Once you start giving people hope and you start making them believe inside, it changes the outside. So that's why what I'm doing right now is trying to hit inside, hitting the people inside. That's why they're like, oh, you don't do interviews or you don't do this. No, I will, but it's just, I'm busy hitting the people. I could walk down the street and hit as many people as I will on a live, but yet, well, no, my life's a little different because, my life is also like a reality show on Facebook where people following me. They following everything I do. They like to see that. They loving watching it grow, watching it rise, because we came from a lot of everybody out here know, man, I started this journey off in the mission because nobody, I was nothing. They believed I was that same bad kid.
Yeah. Well, so you're marketing. So, I mean, let me pick your brain about marketing. So public safety or crime or whatever, DeCamillo's closed and said we're closing because of violent crime.
They lying.
Well, right. And in the same night, somebody was shot and no one talked about it, didn't even make the newspaper. It seems like 2 different things. What happened there?
Yeah, they was lying. They did get robbed. I know actually this guy I grew up with, son did it. He had he didn't even have a gun, nothing. It was a cop inside the place. It was just like a crazy situation. It was a little kid that did it. They know that crime didn't do it. What happened was this pandemic hit and a lot of businesses took a hit. They was already falling under and they just don't want to admit the excuse of it's over. The economy is hurting. If they would have got robbed 10 years ago, they would have been opened back up the next day with a new security guard.
Yeah.
So we want to point and blame everything. It's everything. It's no one factor. That's the reason why, like with the Entrepreneur School of Thought, I created a commissioner list where there's 25 commissioners that I'm going through the city and going to pick 25 people to play these 25 different roles, because I understand that, like you said, the 28 other things, everybody got to have one point in order to rise a city or to rise any city. You have to simultaneously hit different avenues. And that's what makes me as a good leader, is the fact that I don't go into the details. I know how to get the right person and put the right person in place.
So let me go there. So civics, I'm interested in civics because I think all of us are smarter than any of us. And unless we organize, it's settled science that if we organize and work together, we're better off than working separately. You know that. So that's civics to me. That's the city government. That's the churches. That's everything. So if we're going to organize about anything, what's the first thing we do before we do the second thing, before we do the third thing in this city, in Niagara Falls? What's the first thing that those 50 people you gather need to know? Do this now before you do something else tomorrow. Like what is that priority list?
Save yourself. Then
Is this anarchy? I should just, let me go back to grass cutting. A couple weeks ago, I had the city council president on. He just told everybody to go cut lawns himself. Is this the cowboy justice world in Niagara Falls?
Save yourself, then your family. And not in a way where remember, everything to me is change what is within you. Like when your eyes close, if you close your eyes right now, that is your judgment day. Your world ceased to exist. So when you close your eyes, you got to understand your world is only what you see. That is your world. So when I say save yourself, I'm more into interior. Change what I changed. That's why nobody believed I was the same man that I asked my mama for $2 when I was like 14, 13. I asked her for $2. She ain't give it to me. She had cancer. And I said, bitch, I hope all your hair fall out. This is how evil I was. I was the type, if me and you had a problem, I'd walk all the way over Highland Bridge, because I'm from the east side, go and punch the man mama in the face, wait till he get home, then beat him up. But I changed what was in me. So to me, it's always, hold up, fix your backyard, then worry about theirs. If your house on fire and we keep pointing the finger, and that's what's happening. Everybody's worried about everybody else instead of saying, help yourself, then help your neighbor. If everybody did that, we'd change. We ain't utilizing our resources, our money or nothing right, because we trying to reach out too far. That's why when people ask me like, well, you should, okay, so this is all my money. I got a business, my business do okay, but in the winter I go dead. But I'm hanging up, the little yard signs on telephone poles, making sure everybody hearing the message. And then people hitting me like, you should do the whole city. You just doing where the majority of the black people at. How about lay sale? How about this? I said, understand, if I tried to reach the whole city, I would lose part of the city because I only had a limited amount of money. I only got 300 yard signs. If I put them on this side of Hyde Park, it looks like a lot. And everybody that's 90% of the shootings is here. So I had to target my market to say, this is what I could focus on and get it done, and then move to the next. So everything to me, even what's happening now, I lived it 3 years ago. My mind is different because I live in a cell. I'm still like, prison messed me up so much. To me, everything is mental. I live in a cell. What's happening now, I lived this 3 years ago. I'm already 3 years later waiting for the next step that nobody even know that.
Yeah. Well, so this kid goes into DeCamillo's, but Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday night, people robbed 3 restaurants on 3rd Street in the Falls. So couple things. What makes them do that? Because this isn't the Lufthansa heist with $6 million in there. They must have gotten just a couple of, pieces of equipment and maybe some cash from the register. So what
might be making them do that?
What?
The inner city is uniting together so much that those that want to rob got the mentality, I got to stop hurting my brothers, so they trying to reach out, but maybe they might stop. Maybe that might be the after effects, because we haven't been having or hearing of stuff in our community. We talking about the stuff that doesn't even get reported to police. Somebody just break out your window, rob you, or somebody stick up somebody they just got robbed for something. Like, we haven't been hearing many reports of that. Like, we've been seeing the black on black crime platform actually working in some sense. We're seeing a lot of it starting to scale back. We see a new wave going over the city and did nothing but just reach to what was inside of the person. So maybe that could be an effect, because the people I'm hearing and the things I'm seeing of who did this and who did that would normally be somebody maybe climbing through my window. But now they decided, now the few bad apples, because that's what I'm doing. I'm making everybody get away from the bad apples. That's what it's going to take some time, but them 2-3 bad apples that keep doing stuff, we need to stay away from, and we need to start pulling in. The crime is coming from a root that isn't, it's coming from a root that the root has to be changed. And that's what I'm targeting, that route.
From a marketing standpoint, if we're a tourism city, Niagara Falls, the headlines of 3 stores robbed on a street kind of makes national news and doesn't look good. You know, how do we stop that from happening from a marketing standpoint? I mean, people do read it, whether it was bad or not. People do read it.
You know what I told the Niagara Gazette one day? I told the Niagara Gazette, I said, y'all should start writing more. I said, if y'all really want to save y'all paper, sell hope.
Mm-hmm.
Sell hope. And they just looked. I'm like, yo, trust me on that. Sell hope. My same point is sell hope. Stop pushing the negative stories. Cut them. And then, but you have to be working on cutting the root. If you're working at the root up here, we need to start cutting them stories. We need to stop glorifying the violence. We need to stop glorifying this and that. Like you said, somebody gets shot, it ain't even getting reported. Y'all not reporting it because it's so common now that you don't care because it don't sell. You shouldn't have reported it in the first place where these guys didn't think it's cool to say, yo, you read about me in the paper? No, give them another reason to be there. Sell hope. Sell where we could go. And people will start grabbing it and want that hope. All we got to do is put hope in the people and we'll change everything of our city. Give them hope and give them away.
What do you think the number one issue for Niagara Falls is? The number one thing to work on? The one positive thing anyone should work on? Other than themselves, you know, look to yourself. I mean, as a city, the city has $100 million. The state takes $500 million out of here every year. What should we do?
I don't care about none of that. Like, I'm one of them guys that I when my eyes close, that's all I care about. So when I open, that's why I'm so effective in the community, because I don't care about the $1 million that this and this. My thing is I'm gonna work all the way up to the bottom to 10 years from now. We're gonna control that $100 million or that $100,000. But right now it's like none of that matters. What each person needs to work on is just what they can work on, because there's so many, there's no one question, one answer. I could give you the answer if I was saying what you should work on, because you're going to work on what skill base or what field you can. And everybody's going to do that. There's not no one answer. And like that type stuff is stuff that I don't care about. I care about making sure that another one of my brothers ain't laying dead in the street. I want to make sure that, and now suicide is becoming more common in my community. There has been a lot of suicides happening from mental states. My thing is to make sure that we rise up so we can even have a business. Our mentality is so far back that I must focus my marketing almost 80% of my energy into just the people. Even if the tourists come down the road, that's great. But right now, I don't care about it. Because in reality, I have to say, when I walk down the street or I walk in the community, you will see I get a lot of love. People love me. They love seeing me because I am them. And all I care about is them. And I realize you get more done when you focus your energy. So the general of the city is different for every group. When you say who should work on what, LaSalle should work on something different than us. And that's the reason why these block clubs need to be created. We need to recreate the block clubs so where every single block have their own representative. You know, I'm not for government or believing we need the government. Block clubs work very efficiently to make sure that we are okay on our blocks and everything is kept in line so we can work together. And see, we've been putting together a block club, a new block club, you know, your name, street, block, contact. I mean, of course, you know, we wait till the community helps, so we only can do what the community allow us to do. But I think that's the next step that we need in Niagara Falls. If I had to say generally, putting everybody together, downtown, uptown, everywhere, I think we need to reestablish the block club and reestablish our own representatives on our blocks, representatives, you know, in our community. And we need to come together like that so we could be on the same page on serious issues that come up in the future. The issues that's on the table today doesn't matter to me because being realistic, I can't really change them because they're there right now. But once we grow, we can. I think the thing we need to do is keep working on them block parties. Block parties come with that though, but work on them, work on the block club. And I think we need to work on the block club and we need to work on them commissioners, you know, them 25 people that's gonna help guide the direction of the people as a whole, what we're gonna do with our money, what we're gonna do with the directions of the things that we control, you know, so
it seems like what you're saying is you're building an organization, AKA a government, really, outside of the organization, the government that already exists, which
Yeah,
is fine. But, it sounds like what you're doing.
I think that, listen, I remember I told you in the beginning that I think my whole life was like a test that taught me something.
Yeah.
I come from prison, right? I marry a woman from Jerusalem. So her family she was actually from Jerusalem, but they came over here. I married her. So, and her family owned most of the stores around here, Buffalo, Lockport. So, and I was married to her for about 2.5 years. I don't think I was meant to be married to her or Arab. I think I was meant to learn family and learn how they did it. I seen how they orchestrated together. I seen how they bond together. I seen the myths that people talk about not to be true. We just tried to make up some stuff to say they got this, they got that because of how they work together. They know how to work together. They know how to, they share information with each other. If I learn how to get extra money, I'm gonna teach you. Or if I learn something, I'm gonna teach you. They understand the world is big, so they willing to branch out and pour resources back in. So for 2.5 years, I got to see this. I got to live amongst this. I got to, for the first time, go and sit at family dinner tables. And the knowledge of that and what it showed me is what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is something new. Other races have it when they first come here. Any foreign race that come here is going to have that because they're not used to how beautiful America is just beautiful to start with. It don't matter with the crime, with everything. You got to, it's beautiful. You got all the free will you really want. That, nothing is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is perfect. Socrates used to say that Socrates used to talk all that junk in Athena, right? And he used to talk about the Spartans, right? But if he would have went there and talked that same shit, they would have killed him.
Yeah. So a lot of people never leave, their own area, but you travel extensively. What do people tell you when you talk about Niagara Falls if you're in other places? What's like the general feedback you get, if any?
Well, Niagara Falls they just know the waterfall.
Yeah, it's more like, hey, what a great place. I wish I could go there, right?
Is that Canada? And they know a waterfall, which is good to me because outside of that, they have no recognition of Niagara Falls, which is good. It means it's known, yet it's unknown.
Right.
Which is good enough for us to say, okay, Niagara Falls is known for a waterfall. Now we can make it known for something else, and we got something to grab onto to the point where Niagara Falls could be known across the country very fast for very cheap.
Right. That's why I think, and I think you think too, it could be a huge city. It shouldn't just be a little bit more polished up. It's
gonna be a huge city.
Nobody else thinks so but you. I ask everybody this. I'm telling you, no one else gives me that answer.
You know what? I tell people this and they be like, yo, when I tell you I ain't chasing money, I am chasing a legacy though. I want to be remembered for 200 years. I want it to be Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Demetrius Nix.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to make sure the city's on. And that's one thing the whole city know. When I go out, people be like, yo, I know if you get on, you're going to put us on the map. Yeah, I'm going to bring them resources back. I'm going to bring back what we need. I don't want no key to the city. That ain't what I want. I want the city to actually key itself around.
So let me ask, I want to help. How do I do that? I can already close my eyes and look within myself. I'm already there. I want to build the best city with the rest of my life right here in Niagara Falls. What do I do? How do I get involved? How do I talk? Direct me. Tell me what to do. I need
between 11 and 5, Monday through Friday, show up at the Entrepreneur School of Thought.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Huh? Can't do it.
Well, think about it. Well, if you do, okay, you can't come that time. I don't know. Honestly, it's at a stage where the pieces come. I believe so much in the Most High. Listen, I open the doors to this, but really, it's about figuring out how can you fit in. You could run a class. You could, on a time when you're free, you could come and give knowledge. We all must share something, and we all must take something away. And every time somebody come into the Entrepreneur School of Thought, they write down their name, number, and address. I know I got the most exclusive database in this whole city that we can rock whenever we want.
Well, I've been there and I signed the book. I've never heard from anybody. I mean, I'm not ragging on you for that. But I mean, I've done that.
You're never gonna hear from anybody because it's meant to, if we actually,
why did I sign the book and put my name down and my number? Why did I do that?
A day gonna come when we is gonna call on you, but normally this is what we do in our community. The reason why they sign their name and number, it's our mechanism of support. It really means nothing. that book means absolutely nothing. But in our community, it's showing our support, our togetherness. My drive comes from my people. So when my people come in and you got 40 people that sign the book almost every single day. And then you got another 100 people that's throughout the week just coming to hit the book, or, and then you got your randoms that's coming in and you got this. But when you see that, it's like, it's our motivation. We still in the hood. We still in the middle of the hood. And our school is jumping more than any corner store, than any trap, than any it's more people probably coming in and out of here, more traffic in and out of here a day than what's going out of City Hall to go and pay their taxes. And then as you keep coming, that's why I say just come, because I don't know what to tell anybody to do. All I know how to do is open the door. And once you start coming and you be around, you're going to find out where you fit in. If I try and direct you, the whole plan is just going to stay out how I see it. I understand to sit back and let the people push it where they need to push it. Let the people take it where they need to take it. I don't know where would you fit in. But if you came here and you was here a few times, it will get to the point where you will find a way and say, you know what, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to add this, or you're going to leave a drew that somebody else is going to do. And that's what we need. This building is not like they keep telling me, you're going to need a bigger building because too many people coming now. Some days we get 100 signatures. I'm like, no, we don't, because the buildings is meant to be small, because this is a place only for the minds. It's a school of thought. It's the place where we're supposed to link our minds and then do the work in the community. So keep the building small, because I want to start doing more events outside of the community. Them is just the hours that we keep this open. But once we branch more and more out into the community, next thing you know, is 4 or 5 events going on under one umbrella at one time, because there's so many different people doing their own thing, building in their own way. You might love working with the homeless. He might love working with people on doing overdoses and drugs. Somebody else might love helping people start businesses. If everybody help people with what they love and start working together, that's the key. Right. And then I help my neighbor and I draw my neighbor down here and say, yo, I've been over here doing this. Next thing you know, everybody's coming. And we're going to connect the whole city 1 block at a time. I just can't rush it. I got to have patience. I already been here. I've been thinking of it so long to even be this far is like, yo, I'm far, far deep into my plan now. I'm deep in the territory. And it's like, I got to have patience now. I got to wait till somebody could come in. I can't read and write that well. So I got to wait till somebody come in that could show me. I mean, not show me, that could take, I live in Alabama now. So that could take over the block clubs and actually, a couple people take over the block clubs and make sure that they get formed. So when we get every single block, if we do that, you unlock the city, because you unlock the people. The people is more powerful than the government, as what's the name? Dante always say, Dante Miles.
Yeah. So there's a saying also of, it's not broken, it's built this way. The city or whatever we live in is constructed exactly as it is, because that benefits people, like the 140 vacant acres that you drive by near the casino that your grandmother's house is in, that your house is in. I mean, it's not neglected. It's built this way. It's that way for a reason. It's that way by design. Do you believe that, or do you think it's just still broken?
No, it's exactly how it was designed to do. Everything worked out perfect in this city. As I sat back in my cell and I analyzed it, I see that everything worked out perfect. Everything worked out perfectly in their favor and in my favor. Because I am an opportunist. I am a dreamer. I understand that this is how it is today. It might have went down over the last 30, 40 years, but it was exactly what it was supposed to do. That's what happens. People leave, it goes down, and somebody come in and build it up. Different places is just going to keep going like this. The same places is going to build back up over and over and over and over again. Niagara Falls was, it will be again.
Yeah. But you don't think that eyesore mentality, the broken window factor of driving by vacant properties is an issue?
That's not about to be an issue no more, though.
Yeah.
Except down there on them 140 acres you talk about, because they strategically put them banded buildings to keep their value down and make sure, it just looked like a bad neighborhood, but enough where if an investor could come, they could see through it. So that's why you said it's kept up. But these abandoned buildings strategically placed, so when nobody in there could get the right idea that their value or their property might be worth something before they could get the last pieces. But when you ride through the rest of the city, all these old buildings is about to be getting brought. All these old buildings, you got so many people moving here now.
Do we?
Huh?
We do?
You got 150 families waiting to buy houses right now. That's just one cycle. You know, they almost done with that mosque. So they trying to do here what they did in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got the church on South redoing that church.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to build their congregation. So you got the church organization. The mosque is gonna be different because they come in, they different. They want to flip the whole community. So that's their thing. Their first goal was to get 200 to 300 families here within 2 years. So they done already accomplished way past that. And if you starting to realize they buying everything and they putting us out. So basically what's happening again is the same thing that happened over there. NFR came to the east side. They brought us out, kicked us over here. Now the foreigners is coming in and they doing it again. And they coming at rapid rates with big bags of money, selling their houses in New York and running here. But then they pulling their family from overseas here. So them families that I'm talking about that's coming here, they all coming from different countries. This in 5 years, all you're gonna see when you walk down here, this is gonna look like a Middle Eastern city.
Is that a bad thing? That's not a bad thing, is it?
No, I'm Muslim, so that's how I know the whole working of that. And
yeah,
not bad. I mean, it's great for me, my kids, because my kids now get to finally be around Muslims. But it's bad for the sake of the people that's gonna get disenfranchised once again. That's gonna get shipped around once again.
Yeah.
Because we're not the homeowners. We're not the people. And whoever it is, they buying. That's what they doing. They coming in. And I was the guy, I got a construction business, so I'm fixing and I'm seeing too. The other side is, that's the bad side. It's the people here is gonna be moved. But I can't say it's a good thing because they're gonna open businesses. Like they're gonna buy up Pine. Pine will not have a dead business in 5 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if Corona happened, if it didn't happen, if the falls happened or not, just because of that mosque, it's going to draw people from everywhere because they understand they build their families. They did it in Buffalo. They changed the names of streets. They opened big schools and now they're about to do it here. So this is going to be
Well, let me ask you that from a marketing standpoint. Do you think Pine Avenue should be rebranded? It's got Little Italy on both ends of the entire commercial district, multiple blocks. But when I go down, there's a halal shop and there's, various ethnicities. Do you think it should just be called Independence Boulevard from now on?
Nah, I think we should leave it Little Italy.
Yeah.
It's no longer Little Italy though, because all the Italians is leaving, right? But I think we should leave the heritage of the city, kind of, I've been thinking about that, like the mafia heritage, all of that. I think we need to tell the tale, not throw the tale away about who's here now. So how about when we gone, then they're going to throw us away. It's just like they ran the city.
Yeah.
So kind of a tribute is like, I think that it should be more mafia stuff here. There should be more teaching in like when the city do build and it's a tourist attraction, I think that should be taught. Like in America, I don't think that they should hide all the wrongs that she did. Like we're going to hide the Confederate flag. We're going to take this statue and do this instead of telling what it really is and what really happened. Sometimes it's good to keep the roots of your city. So I want to just jump. I've been thinking about that too, but I wouldn't just jump to change the name. I think the name should actually, maybe we should start holding on to some of our roots, because we complaining when they tear down this building or they take away this we have forever, but we throwing away all of our roots.
Yeah. Well, I guess I asked, a guy who rents bicycles on 3rd Street. I asked him if anybody comes around from the city or anywhere and says, listens to good ideas, like an open container law or whatever. Why don't you do this? I own a business right here. Why don't you do X, right? There's no one that takes those ideas from people and implements them. So you just mentioned the mafia heritage. Hey, great. Well, the NFR owns the funeral home where they, killed all those people. It could be instantaneously tomorrow made into a tourist thing. Why don't we do it?
A museum that it would draw people. Listen,
why don't we do that?
Have you ever talked to Joe Augustale?
I don't know him.
You need to get him on an interview. Okay, so but Joe just did he's obsessed with the mafia. But he lives in Canada now, but he's really obsessed with building this city. He's the one that started Niagara Falls Street News with me. But he just did a mafia video about everything that happened, the funeral home and that, and he's obsessed for years, looked up everything of how that building being a museum could actually bring a lot of benefit and national attention. So he made this documentary. He put it out in 3 days, 40,000 views he got in 3 days by him putting out the fact that right here in Niagara Falls, the man that ran this East Coast was him.
So you're in construction and you're into marketing. Do you think if I gave you $85,000, could you turn that a funeral home, it's a very small building, into a tourist and education center about that?
Because it ain't the money that you, I mean, yeah.
But could you do it for 85,000? I'm giving you 85.
That's good. That's gonna be easy. It's just getting the knowledge. I'm more thinking, how you gonna set it up. But yeah, that's 85. That's going to be easy.
Okay, so what I get to here is we've got NFR, and their local person is Roger Trevino, who can be, lots of difficult things to people, right? Well, why don't they take their $85,000 refund check they just got from the city and do something positive to be good about things, right? Make us feel good about all those acres that are vacant. Why doesn't this happen? Why can't we work together?
Nobody has come to them with the option. You know what?
There you go. It's right here. It said public. The world's going to watch it. I'm not a genius.
Let me explain what I mean by, okay, we all done tried. You know what I'm saying? But the way I'm going to try is, like I said, when I was talking about the Black Dubai down there, when I come to them and the money is on the table and the ideal is on the table, they're going to take it way more serious. We coming to them with a million ideals and not the whole lineup. So we got to backtrack, get the people together, get the ideals together, and have an ideal of the money there in order to go and present it to them. Once you get them together and how they could win by doing it. Just like you just said, you got to put that in there, how this could help them with their credit if they did this. We could put that together. But there's something's going on with that funeral home where somebody do not like the mafia guy that died.
Yeah.
Somebody do not like him and he do not want nothing to happen. And he got something with that company that they will not do it because of that. Something like that. Joe was telling me about it. He's very he's in the crime. Like when I want to know how many people get killed, I call him and he'll give you a whole list because he keeps up with everything. He normally goes and records every memorial, but he hasn't been back in America in 22 months now because they shut down the bridge. But he kept me up on all that and all the mob stuff, like the tours, how we could do better tours. We could really make that part of our culture, and it's very, very big. I don't think we should dump that.
So I've got this thing and we should work on this together, but you got to share Joe's name with me because I'll reach out to him. But, we're all smarter than any, we're all whatever I say all the time. And then we got is what you say all the time, right? These things are the same thing. So I want to have this section of steal this idea, just steal it. Go ahead. Roger Trevino, take it to Milstein, make this happen with the $85,000 refund check you just got. It's a good idea. I can't hump it up the tree and work on it all day. I got a job to do. I got other things to do. You got other things to do. Steal the idea. Just take it, right? But so we got to have those ideas.
They got other things to do too. To them, that ain't that important. So
I guess so. I guess what you're telling me is it's not that important to have Niagara Falls be a vibrant city because that helps.
It is that important, but if you don't got enough time to sell them the dream, they don't got enough time to go and build it themselves, or they would have been did it. Obviously, they don't have they don't see that side of the dream, so you got to bring it to life for them. You got to show them. Like me, Roger been watching me. I'm all right with Roger. Roger been watching me since I was hanging out of windows, fixing up this house with me and YouTube, because I never fixed up a house. That's how I did a construction business. I got left my grandma's house. I built the house, and then people started asking me, hey, would you do my porch? Absolutely. And then it's just ripple effect. So me and Roger got a different kind of relationship. Me and Roger is okay, so when I come to him, I don't plan on coming to him anyways. I plan on going to Howard. But it might be 5-7 years from now. I don't think they're going to do nothing with it. I think it's going to sit. And I think keep bothering them is a waste of time. Put a plan together that holds logical substance. Then come to them with it. Then if they don't act, then you raise some hell. But so you raise hell, and we got all these ideas of what they should do, but we want them to do the work. They own the land, and they got to find the money.
Here's how fast everything's going now, and you know this. I mean, these things are happening every minute. Oxy Chemical, moves out on Friday. They announced this, right? Well, we don't have any plans. We don't have any ideas to do anything. They get $127,000 in power per job at their plant. I have not heard anyone yet say, hey, wait, time out. Let's take that power and give it to fill in the blank, the homeless, the churches, independent business people, tourism, but we don't have any ideas. What do you want? We can't all stop and put plans together for everything. The world's going too fast these days. We can and we should,
which is
but
the reason
it doesn't
why,
happen.
listen, which is the reason why we have to build our own organization. So I don't like to say organization because we just need to be more organized as people and really focus on everybody doing a little so we can get all this created. And like I said, it took me 7 years to sit down where you even want to interview me. Because 7 years ago, you would never even want to interview me when I was sitting down with them kids and I didn't show nothing yet.
Well, like, for the record, I've only been doing this for 7 months and I didn't do this 7 years ago. So.
No, I'm not talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like all the interview requests and stuff that come, it's because I have showed and tell. So it's like, we got to show. I just think that I don't have a right to go to another man and tell him what he should or shouldn't do with something because I'm thinking about the overall the people. I don't think I got that right unless I'm coming with something that could benefit that man. And I take that all the way from a man that's sitting next to me to an organization. I got to make sure that I have something to offer. So I don't like what NFR did. I'm not saying that. I hate what they did. And I hate what they did to my grandma and what they did to my community. But I know I don't have a right to go to them. And I know it ain't even time to go to them yet. So to me, it's really like, watch the Arabs come in, right? I'm grabbing up my community, the inner city. As the Arabs come in, they're going to come right to me too, inshallah. You know, man, our values line up. So now that's two groups that's already going to form together. I already got brothers like you that's forming together. Give us a little bit of time. We're going to all be together where we could go and make real demands. But we need to make it so where they don't just do some shit that's gonna create a million either minimum wage jobs and not really give us nothing that's gonna really prosper us.
Right. So here's my final mentality here is I have to know and care about your concerns, and you need to know and care about mine, so that at various points, yours are more important than mine, or mine are more important than yours. But we have a plan. We all know where we're going, so that on one day I support you, but on another day you support me. So that's what we lack right now. We do. Every community does. I'm not saying Niagara Falls ain't different. If we're going to build the best city in the world, we're going to have to be different than everybody else in the world. So we're going to have to talk to each other. We're going to have to know each other. And we're going to have to know each other's helps and needs so that we can fulfill them. That's the only place I'm going. I'm an economist by training. So what that means is we plan long-term and have no success. It's terrible to be an economist. But what the criticism of economists are is people eat today. They don't eat someday, you know? And so we have to have plans today, not someday. And those plans can change tomorrow. You know, they can morph and move forward, but we do have to do something today. That's all I'm saying. So,
yeah.
No, I can't thank you enough for doing this and for being here. And I love having these conversations. You're the only person, let me just say this again. You're the only person that did not answer the question of what do you think Niagara Falls could be. You spouted off answers. Every other person has, and I've asked hundreds of people. They stare at me like I have two heads. It's not possible.
You know why I have to believe in Niagara Falls? Because I have to believe in me. I believe so dearly that my life has a purpose, and I'm here. Do you know when I turned Muslim, there was no Muslims around me? 5 years ago, I was fighting, trying to get somebody to teach my kids Islam, to have an organization, because it was an organization around, but the mosque organization, they was all foreigners. They didn't understand what we was going through. So out of all this time, just so happened the biggest mosque in New York is coming right next door to me. Like everything that I've been lining up in life just seemed like all the pieces. The door open right here.
Hey, Demetrius, I do like to tell people that they can call in with questions if they want. We have a question from a person named Danish. Is it okay if you take one question? Because then we got to go. It's over.
Go ahead.
Hey, Mike, can you bring him in? Him or her? I don't know who it is. Mike?
Yeah,
Yep.
Danish can talk. Just got to unmute.
Okay, Danish, unmute and you ask your question, please. quickly if you can, because we're running out of time. Well, we might not be able to unmute this person.
Are we clear? Are we clear, brother?
Oh, there we are. Hey, Dinesh, thanks for joining. You got a question?
Yes. Yes, I'm getting you from Kenya. I've been also looking about doing investment in the community, and I'm glad also to contribute about this. Like in building a community, we have got several entries into building of the community.
Wow, fantastic.
Building
Do you know anything about Niagara Falls?
Yes.
What do you know?
Yeah, I know about building communities, about strong investments to the local people.
Interesting.
Yes, you can use your finances to build even the upcoming generation. Like you can use your resources to build or to have to plan an orphanage project, which is a free volunteer project. This is a form of building the community. And how do we invest? It is not, we cannot term it an investment because it's only one part investment. It is like you are investing for the future generation. You see that?
Yes.
And you can also build the community by promoting the projects, the farm projects like the permaculture. You take their community, you educate them on how to do the modern farming, how to make their own food, so that at least you invest a strong knowledge and you inject more knowledge onto them, so that the community can be figured out and everybody can have its own resources. So to move on a stronger projection of any idea of finances. Yes, brother.
Dinesh, can we, do you have any connections in Niagara Falls, or can we connect you to the people around here?
I'm only having one part to support you, that we lack, like people are people are self-dependent. Somebody does not need each and every person. If
Right.
I need you, if you need me, then
What he's saying is,
Okay, Dinesh, thank you. Let's, Dinesh, we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much. I'm going to reach out to you. Go ahead, Demetrius.
Davis, go ahead. Yes.
Yes. Okay, Demetrius, go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying that.
Yeah, go ahead, Demetrius.
oh no, I wasn't saying nothing.
Oh, okay. So, if we get, this is what I mean of Niagara Falls being a worldwide brand, that it's not, it's just not another place. In fact, Buffalo, I mean, I've traveled the world. People don't even know about Buffalo. They know Niagara Falls, and we can use that.
Well, I want Niagara Falls to be different than everywhere else.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go that normally they say is big, they say you go a couple blocks away, it's all this horribleness, right? I want Niagara Falls. That's why I want to fix the people first, then build it up, because everything takes time. That way, when you come here, it's also going to be one of the most lovingest cities everywhere. It's like, so that's why I said the stages of this. It's not going to be overnight. We can't dream it overnight. We must work on it today and accomplish our goals very slowly, slowly, slowly.
Yep. Demetrius, again, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk to us today. It's very good. Thank you so much. And I know that if you need me, call me, but you're not going to wait for anyone to call you. You're too busy. So I'll try and plug in wherever I can, and I'm going to follow everything. I really appreciate it.
All right. Love y'all. Be safe.
All right. Thanks. Thanks everybody for watching today and for participating. Thanks for Dinesh for calling in from a foreign country. We'll see you again next week.